Hello, everyone. Recently, I was reading in the book of Isaiah about the great king Hezekiah. Hezekiah was king during a siege of the Assyrian king Sennacherib against the city of Jerusalem. Hezekiah went to God in sackcloth and ashes and in brokenness and said, God, help us. And God gave him a great deliverance and took the Assyrian king away and his army and delivered Hezekiah and the nation Israel from them. The next thing that we see, though, is King Hezekiah finding out from the prophet Isaiah that he was going to die. He had gotten sick, and he sent for Isaiah, and Isaiah told him, get your affairs in order. God has told me he's going to take you home. And Hezekiah didn't like that news, which most people don't like at that time. And he prayed and said, please, God, I've been faithful. Please do me a favor. And God gave Hezekiah 15 more years to live. The reason he answered his prayer is not because of Hezekiah's faithfulness, it's because God is graceful and merciful. But Hezekiah revealed in that request that he didn't trust God's timing in his life. And that led to selfish thinking in Hezekiah's life, and then it led to carelessness, because the next thing that we see is some emissaries from the Babylonian kingdom coming, and Hezekiah showing all the wealth of Israel in the storehouse of the temple. And Isaiah came to him and said, you have done a very foolish thing, because this nation is going to come and take everything away, including your children and your grandchildren, and make them slaves. And Hezekiah's response to Isaiah was grievous. He said, well, at least it's not going to happen in my lifetime, so it's okay. And that's what happens when we don't trust God's timing in our life. We become isolated in our thinking, and we forget that life is not just about us. It's mainly about the people that God has placed in our life, that God's plan for all of us is to make a difference. When Hezekiah was thinking about the nation and others, he was a great king. But when he only thought about himself, he became very isolated and selfish and basically a horrible king. So if you're feeling isolated, if you're only thinking about yourself right now, do something for others. Pick up the phone, be a blessing to somebody, pray for something, meet a need in somebody else's life, so that we can all protect ourselves from becoming isolated in our thinking, and we can make a difference in other people's lives for God's glory.